It doesn't really surprise me that I really thoroughly enjoyed Mickey's Safety Club Halloween Surprises. This was released in 1989 as one of Disney's educational short films, and needless to say, this is designed to educate the viewer on how to stay safe on Halloween night. And to its credit, it actually covered a few things I hadn't thought about, which I'll talk about in a moment. So there will be spoilers in this discussion for a few things you can expect, but the whole thing is about 12 or 13 minutes. And it starts off with a girl watching TV and she falls asleep. And then she dreams that she's in Mickey's clubhouse and Mickey is there to help her learn about the safety of Halloween. And it starts off with them picking costumes in this very atmospheric room. It's brilliantly done. And they talk about how you have to have costumes that are the right size. And I've never thought about that. I never would have put costumes that aren't too big for you in a Halloween safety video, especially as, a lot of costumes are oversized. That's kind of the point of a lot of them. But I think it's also really important for little children who might be running around. If their costume's too long or too big, it could cause them some problems. So, credit to the show for thinking, well, what I consider to be thinking outside of the box. And then it talks about, not using weapons that are sharp and things. We have a character dressed as a pirate who has a toy sword. Obviously, it's not very sharp. And then we have things about crossing the road and street safety, all of which I think is quite important. It could have talked a little bit more about nighttime safety and darkness because most people go trick or treating in the dark, and I didn't really get that that was something they were as concerned about as the costumes. They spend a lot of time on the costumes and not a lot of time on the actual act of trick or treating. So I think the balance there wasn't perfect, but nevertheless, I still found it to be really good fun. There was one bit that I both loved and hated in equal measure. It reuses footage of Madame Mim from The Sword in the Stone, but with a different voiceover of Madame Mim talking about her costumes and what her costume is like. And actually, the voiceover did go very well with the action on screen, but it was a little bit peculiar to see this iconic footage with different vocals. Also, I'm of the mind that Madame Mim is the scariest Disney character ever. So while I love it and I think it's very well done, I intentionally don't watch Madame Mim that much. So it was an interesting experience and unexpected. It works very well. I was expecting a little bit more in terms of clips of the Sensational Six. We get a tiny bit of that at the beginning, but generally not too much. So in terms of how it's edited as a full package, it's not brilliant. It could be better. There's a lot more they could have done with this. I think the balance isn't great either, but at the same time, there is a lot of useful information in this, nevertheless, and I still found it to be very atmospheric and good fun. If you love Disney and you love Halloween, this is definitely worth checking out.